Okay, so let's see if we can try to finish this video without getting cut off. So I had a video a couple days ago explaining how what Trump did is dissolve the United States corporation that was put into place in 1871, and he brought us back to the Republic. And there's a few other videos talking about this now more thoroughly. But the reason why our country is going to be saved, goes back to biblical, goes back to really the some original founding principles is what I was going to talk about. And there was, so for people who don't know, the other thing that people might not understand is that in 1620 there was the people of the Mayflower that came over and to our country and made a covenant. They were Christians. They came over and made a covenant with the land over here. They came over on the Mayflower boat, okay, because they wanted a new start, okay, and basically they were Christians and they made a covenant with God on this land back in 1620, and God takes covenants seriously, okay, and but so does Satan too. So but when you have, so that's what we're dealing with here, is that the covenant, Satan is trying to take over the covenant that we had on our land. This is truly a spiritual battle, and I've said this before in other videos. But I wanted to read some scriptures also too, because there are judgments going to be coming down, and there are things, a lot of things in play, and there's going to be things that some people are going to make it and some people aren't, is really what it comes down to. And so I wanted to read some scriptures and to just help understand kind of what's going on too, is that, okay, so it says in, basically if you've been in the good fight and you've been in the good battle, you don't have anything to worry about. But if you haven't been, you're going to be judged, is really what it comes down to. There's some scriptures talking about it. Psalm 94, 21 to 23. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge, and he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord cut them off. Okay, that was Psalm 94, 21 to 23. Okay, and then there's Psalm 91. It says 91:8. It says that basically the righteous, no judgment will come on you. It says that with only thine eyes you shall behold and see the reward of the wicked. And I've talked about this in a couple videos back, and that it's time for us to cut off the things, and we need to repent of the witchcraft. And we've done that, and Trump has gone after the human trafficking. If you haven't been aware, they've been after that for the entire 4 years. They cut off their supplies. They're cut off the tunnels that they were using. We have repented of the witchcraft over here, and we have done our part in that way. I mean, the righteous people over here have done that. And so because that's the blood, the innocent blood is what is feeding the enemy. It's feeding the covenant. Okay, so that had to be cut off. So we have to, like the video I did several months back, I said, how do we expect to be saved? What is it? Trump's supposed to do everything? We have to also do our part in making sure that we are not a part of the witchcraft spirit on our land. And I have discussed, and I'll link that video for people who hadn't seen that, because I had said that months ago, is that we have to also do our part and repent from these evil, the witchcraft things, like the trafficking, the shedding of innocent blood, the sacrificing. There's no reason to sacrifice anymore. And that's the whole reason why Jesus came, people, because we were saved by grace. We were saved by grace. We no longer need to sacrifice. That's the reason why Jesus became the sacrifice and died on the cross, because he was the sacrifice. This was Old Testament stuff before Jesus came, is when they were involved in sacrificing to their idols, and they thought that they would get power, and but that's the whole reason why Jesus came. We no longer need to sacrifice. That's one thing that people don't understand. Derek Prince talks about this in some of his teachings, is that we were saved by grace. There's no reason to sacrifice anymore. That's over and done with. That's old school. That's Old Testament. Okay, and so these people are basically deceived. They're deceived because they don't know the truth, and part of the reason is because the churches haven't been teaching this. And that's the other thing that I was going to get to today, is that the churches, they're going to start to be judged too, big time, because what I was getting from God is that we have now repented from the witchcraft, and we've cut off a lot of the witchcraft and the trafficking and the sacrificing. And, we've done a lot of things in that area, but there's too many people who are still lukewarm, is what I was getting, is that they will also be judged. And it talks about it. And I believe that's what's stopping God from coming on from his miracles right now, is that I believe that it's the lukewarm people and the cowards and the fearful people that are stopping God from moving in our land right now. That's what I have been getting when I prayed. It says in Revelations 21:8, but the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, idolaters, and liars, they will be confined to the fiery lake of burning sulfur, which is the second death. So it's really clear in Revelations 21:8 that you're going to go down the same as a murderer or a prisoner. I mean, not a prisoner, but I mean somebody that has committed more serious crimes than just being a coward and fearful. But God is clearly saying in this verse that he's just as much going to judge you as he judges that other person, because you haven't stood up for the truth. You're lukewarm, and that includes many churches, many ministries, and you are stopping the blessing on our land because you haven't been teaching people the truth, and you've been part of this lukewarm problem that we have over here. But also Galatians 6:9, but let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not give up. Okay, so I wanted to read that to encourage people. But and then in 2 Chronicles 7:14, for if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Okay, that's pretty clear. You have to, at this point, get on our knees. God wants us to get on our knees. That's really what, and there's super evil people that are just downright evil, and we know who they are. And but then there's people that are just these like lukewarm people that he's talking about here, and that if you will just turn from some of your wicked things, we can be saved. But people have to take this seriously, and they haven't been taking this seriously. It's like, look, I mean, isn't it clear now, how serious this is? And I mean, I exposed a lot of things, and when I helped expose some things going on a military basis, but there's way more to my story too. about what was going on. I mean, not only did we, was there money laundering and trafficking going on through military bases, there was also weapons disappearing. And John McCain was funding ISIS and different people with our weapons. You know, I mean, I won't go into that too much right now, but I mean, you know, the level of treason that has gone on in this country, you know, it's like some people are just waking up now, and a lot of us have known how serious it is, and known how the treasonous things that our government in Washington has been doing. I mean, I reported all of these things to everybody, almost everybody in the Armed Forces Committee, and that John McCain was a part of, and they didn't do anything. They didn't do it. So they've all been committing treason openly. They were fully aware that there was all this stuff McCain was doing through military bases, including allowing there was units that were deployed, and then the soldiers came back, but the weapons didn't come back. Okay, so I mean, you know, the level of treason that has been allowed to happen in this country, you know, I've known this for years because I was working at one of these corrupt bases. You know, there's several corrupt bases, but mine was one of the worst. And so, you know, if you're just waking up now, you know, we have, hopefully you're waking up now and you're realizing how serious this is. And this involves everybody that lives in this country. You know, it doesn't just involve the people, the military, and it involves all of us at this point, because they were trying to sell us out to China. You know, I mean, the weapons were disappearing into the hands of our enemies, our own weapons, by our own politicians. Okay, so wake up. Wake up. Thank you.